Let's take an introductory tour through the Skype for Business interface. We're not going to look at every detail in this movie, but I do want to set the stage so that we're ready to start working with the application. I'm starting here on Windows, but we'll see the Macintosh version in the second half of this movie. So I want to launch Skype for Business. I'll go into the Start menu, scroll through my list of all apps, and if you have Skype for Business installed, it will show up here. I'll select Skype for Business, just click on that to launch it. Then, of course, I'll need to sign in with my Office 365 account. So I'll type in my email address, click Sign In, then it will ask for my password. I'll type that in, hit Sign In again. And then it will ask me if I want it to remember my sign-in information. If I say yes, then it will automatically sign me into Skype for Business every time I launch the application, which is really convenient, but you might also think about security. If somebody is able to sit down at your computer and launch the Skype for Business application, you may not want them to be able to see your information, so you might click No. So go ahead and choose whichever option you want. I'm going to click Yes for convenience, so every time I launch the application, it will automatically sign me in. If this is the very first time you're signing into Skype for Business on your computer, then you'll see some introduction screens describing the core features. You might want to check those out, or you can skip through them because we're going to be talking more in depth about those topics as we go through this course. I'm not seeing those intro screens only because I've signed into this computer in the past. So now that I'm signed in, we can take a look around. And I want to start with this row of 4 buttons near the top of the window. These are the 4 main sections of the application, and we'll be going through these as we work through the course. First, there's Contacts. That's the one that is currently active. This is where you can go to organize the list of people that you want to talk to. The next button is Conversations. If I click on that, it takes me to the Conversations page. And this is where you will see a list of messages that you've sent in the past, and you can go back and continue previous conversations. I don't have any here yet because I have not had any conversations yet in this application. Then there is the Phone button or the Dial Pad button. This is where you'll go if you want to use Skype to call a traditional telephone, which is not available to all users. We'll talk more about that later as well. Then there's the Meetings section, and this is where you can see your scheduled meetings or start a meeting instantly. Meetings are a conversation between 2 or more coworkers which are usually scheduled in advance. Now, all the way on the far right side, there's a button for Settings. It looks like a little gear. And if you click on that, it goes straight into the Settings page with lots of different sections that you can browse through. We're going to be looking at some of the settings as we go through the course, but I wanted you to see how to get to that if you just want to browse through and take a look around. For now, I'm just going to hit Cancel. Next to the Settings button is a little arrow. If you click on that, it opens up this menu where we see some other tools that we'll be using as we go through the course. Next, I want to talk about the contact information that we have up at the top of the window. So of course, I can see my name because I'm signed in, and then next to that, I can see my picture. Now, I don't have a picture set for my account right now, so it's just this little silhouette icon. So to make it easier when other people are seeing you in Skype for Business, you might want to add a picture. So let's do that. I'm going to click on this icon. It takes me straight into the settings window, and I'm in this picture category. And I'll hit this button to add or remove a picture, which is going to take me to the Office website. Because we're using our Office 365 account, anytime we change account information, we're really changing our Office 365 account information. So to do that, I'm going to need to sign in here to the Office 365 website. Since I've signed in the past, it already has my email address here. I'll click on that and put in my password and hit sign in. Now it's going to take me to Outlook on the web, and specifically, it's going to display my contact information. And it's already showing me the interface where I can change my photo. So let's do that. I'll hit Upload Photo. And if I go into the Pictures folder here on my computer, I know I have some pictures of me. So I'll just sort of drill down, find that, click Open. It will upload that picture. Looks good. I'll hit Save. And then I can close this window, go back to the Skype interface, give it a moment to refresh, and now I've got my picture here. So I'll hit OK, and now my picture is next to my name in the Skype for Business interface. And more importantly, when other people see me in their contacts list, they'll see my picture. Next, I want to talk about the status line, this line that currently says available. I'm going to click on that to open up this menu. So I'm currently set to available, so other Skype for Business users will see that I'm online and available for conversations. By default, if the application is running and you're signed in, your status will be set to available. If you sign out, it will show as away, which will show one of these yellow icons. But you can always come to this list and manually change your status to let people know whether you're open to talk or not. So you could leave it set to available. You could choose one of these away options. You'll see it changes to this yellow icon. Or if you want to be very insistent and make sure nobody sends any messages, you can set it to busy or do not disturb, and you have that red icon. For now, I'm just going to switch this back to available. If you leave your computer alone for several minutes, it will automatically switch your status to away. And when you start using your computer again, it will automatically switch back to available. Now, if we go back into that menu, there's also an option to sign out of your account. When you do that, of course, you will appear as away to everybody who looks at you in their Skype contacts list until you sign in again. If you choose exit, it will sign you out and quit the application. And on that topic, there's something you should be careful of. Instead of hitting exit, if I just hit the X at the top right of the window to close the application is still running and I'm still signed in. The window is just closed. If somebody sends me a message in Skype, I'll see a notification here in Windows. So if I do want to close it, or if I want to open that window again, I'm going to go down to the taskbar, and you may see the Skype for Business icon here in the taskbar, or you might have to hit this little arrow to open up this menu. There's the Skype for Business icon. If I click on that, I get this little menu. I can open up the window again, or I could hit exit from here. Let's just hit open to go back to the regular Skype for Business interface. So if you really do want to sign out and quit the application, then you should go to this status menu and choose exit, and it will sign out and quit the application all in one move. So for now, I'm going to go back into the start menu and I'm going to launch Skype for Business again. And you'll see it will automatically sign me in. So that's how the application looks in Windows. Let's take a look at the Macintosh version. So here on the Macintosh, first, of course, I'll launch the application. I could go into Finder to my Applications folder, or I could go into Launchpad and then find Skype for Business here, click on that to launch it. And of course, I'll need to sign in with my Office 365 account. I already have my email address here, so I'll put in my password. And most users do not need to bother with this username field. You can just hit sign in to sign into your account. Now that we're signed in, the application window looks different at first glance from what we saw over on Windows. But if you take a closer look, the controls are basically the same. In Windows, we saw a row of buttons for the different sections of the application. Well, we have those here as well. It's just over here on this left side. So if we go to Contacts, that's the same as the Contacts page we saw over on Windows. Calls is the same as the Phone button on Windows. Meetings is the same. And then Chats is the conversation history like we saw over on Windows. We can change the status by clicking on your account picture up here near the top left, and then go to this little submenu to change your status. And just like any other application on the Mac, if I simply close the window by hitting the red X, it closes that window, but it does not necessarily quit the application. So now I am still set to available and I will still receive calls. I'll see them as notifications that will pop up on the screen. If I want to go back to the Skype for Business window, well, I can go down to the dock, find that icon, click on it, and it will reopen that window. And if I do want to sign out or quit, well, I can go into this main menu here, the application menu with the name of the application. I can choose sign out, or I can completely quit the application, which will of course sign me out and then close the application. And this is also where I would go to find settings. On the Macintosh, they're referred to as preferences, but if I click on that, this is where I'll get my settings. And I can see there are different categories that I can jump through here up at the top. So the look of the application window is different between Mac and Windows, but the core functionality is the same. And as we go through this course, we'll primarily be working with the Windows version, and if there are any significant differences, I'll point those out as we go.